First kick. Start.
Are you ready with injuries? Like, do you have something pulled up?
Well, I get that email.
I know. I'm
at
just like,
9.
I just wanted to make sure you were ready to be up.
I'm up on most of the injury stuff. I'd say the big one is Chase.
Yeah, and I want to know. What is that music? What is that?
Here we go.
Good morning. Yeah, we're back.
After a long hiatus. Sorry about that, guys.
Brian's been ducking me.
No, last week didn't work out. We're 3 grown men with families, so things happen.
Actually, to be honest, I was sick, so I would have had to cancel anyway. I was just like deathly sick by the end of the week, so it didn't matter. Like, the scheduling didn't work out for us, and then I got sick anyway. So
That's funny. I got sick on Monday, so
it's going around.
just got over it.
It's going around. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. We're glad to have you.
Absolutely.
I am Ken. This is Brian.
Brian here.
And we've got Ray
The
handling
master
everything
producer.
over there. Welcome to week 10. If you're still with us, congratulations. That means, you know, your season's going pretty well.
You're still competitive.
Yeah, you're paying
not
attention.
2-7 or something.
Yeah, we're real happy for you. And I mean, if you are 2-7 and paying attention, you know, thank you. And you're going to be better than 2-7 next year because you're paying attention now. So it works out. Don't give up. If you want to not be 2-7 next year, keep playing
Pay
this
attention,
year.
yeah.
Because there's so much that happens at the end of the year, every year, that is what's the word I'm looking for? Workable. That's
Something unexpected.
well, players.
I'm trying to think of a good example.
Young
from last
players
year.
start to get more time at the end of the year for teams that aren't playing well, and so you start to look for next year and project next year. You know, who's going to be the wide receiver 2 on this team and whatever, because guys move away because of contracts and stuff like that. So that's the time. Now's the time to start looking at stuff like that. If you're not having a great year this year.
Well, and people like Javonte Williams and Jonathan Taylor, people that you might have this subpar vision of because they haven't had much of a year so far. I think they're going to have, you know, great back half of the seasons here and go into next year strong.
As top
injury.
10 picks, probably. Yeah.
So things to look out for.
Yeah. All right, let's kick off the Homer Minute.
All right. Ray, you want to go first?
Should I go first?
Yeah, I can go first.
All right, cool.
So, I think with the last loss with the Green Bay Packers, I think it's
Packing it in.
I think Rams are probably, even though they're mathematically still in the hunt, they're probably out of the hunt. So, that being said, I'm not going to just keep talking about the Rams if they're not even in contention. So
You don't want to talk about them at all?
No,
not
even.
Even.
Why would I pump them up?
Come
if
on,
they're
not even
like,
Brett ripping
you
sharts.
know? So go for it.
Yeah. That's right. You guys are on bye this week.
And we're on bye, so
That's right. It's like, who do you play this week? Never mind.
They don't.
All right.
If we get back in it mathematically, then I'll start. You know.
Oh boy.
The Steelers.
Don't be Ray.
Have,
all right, see, don't get mathematically eliminated from your fantasy football league and then just give up. There is value to paying attention and playing well. And I mean,
I didn't say fantasy. I said
no. I'm just saying. Worst case scenario, be a spoiler.
Yeah. I'm in one league where I am 2-7, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to keep putting up a good lineup, and I want to beat some people. I want to be a dream crusher.
Is that the
Iron Throne?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I want to beat some people.
And he's gonna.
Okay, so since you brought it up and we have the same record in fantasy, what is the mathematic? I'm sure you've
usually
looked up the numbers.
6. The 6 is the last one. So
losing 6 or getting
8. Usually 8. 1, 8, and 6 team will get in with points.
Gotcha.
That's how Brian got in last year.
Gotcha.
Actually, I think Brian got in at 7-7.
I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure you guys were 7-7.
7-7 is possible.
I think
because
and Brian won.
6 teams.
Brian won our championship last year, mostly because the other guy didn't start Mike Evans. But hey,
so last year, I feel like there's just a lot of losing rosters out there this year. Was it not like that last year?
There is more middling going
Yeah.
on. Last year and the year before and even the year before that, we had one team that was just like far and away that team's going to the playoffs. And right now you can't say that about anybody, I don't think. And actually it's really interesting. If you look on, there's the Dynasty Nerds, if you're familiar with them, they have an app. And the app can pull your rosters from whatever format you're using, or platform you're using, excuse me. And it will rank the league based on rosters.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
it'll rank them in dynasty mode, and it'll rank them in contender mode. So for the season.
Interesting. Okay.
So can you guess who the number one team to them is right now?
Oh, in Top Gun? Probably yours, I'm guessing.
No,
No? Whose?
Golden Bears.
my brothers.
Is that which one is that?
Just winging it.
Yeah.
He's got.
If he had just set his lineup, if he'd just be setting his lineup and looking on Friday night to pick up guys, because he doesn't even have to fight on the waiver wire,
Right.
he'd be winning. he'd be winning. Yeah. So, and I mean, you got to take that stuff with a grain of salt, because if I just agreed with everything that they said, my team wouldn't be doing as good in Dynasty.
Absolutely.
On the other side. So it's helpful. Those tools are helpful, but they're pros are wrong too. But anyway. 6 is usually the number, Ray. Sorry, long answer there.
No, yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you guys.
So we are not playing each other for elimination this week, most likely.
Gotcha.
Now, I think it's a little different with the divisions. I'm not entirely sure. I think just the first. So I'm pretty sure the way that it works is the first, the winner of each division is
Right.
guaranteed a spot, and then after that, it's based on record.
Best
So I
of
think
records, right.
your division that you're in, everybody is above 500.
Yep.
And I think somebody might not get in.
Let's see. It's 1, 2, 3, or just our whole division gets in.
Well,
That's possible,
Well, the
too.
thing is like that last person could be 8-6, and then someone else is 9-5, or or 8-6 with better points or something like
Right.
that.
No, it's very possible.
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong.
it's definitely possible that somebody goes 8-6 in your division and doesn't make it. So
Right.
we'll see. We'll see what happens.
As long as it's not my team, it's
Yeah.
fine.
This is the
drunken
first time we're playing with
pirates.
divisions, and I like it. It's interesting. I really like how the schedule works out. That's my favorite part, is planning for that. 'Cause
Gotcha.
it really changes how you plan for the season.
Back to Homer minute. Steelers. Like I say, we're winning. We're 5-3. We're looking good.
People are just making fun of it so
I
much.
apologize. We're looking bad, but we're 5-3.
Getting outgained in every game so far.
And this might be another one of those ugly games that we come away winner in. I think we're going to win this one with Green Bay, and
I think so too.
and keep it rolling. And our record is going to make us look like a team that's better than we are right now. And I'm okay with that.
But you might get there.
Let's have some fun. Maybe.
I mean, you
maybe
might
Kenny's
actually,
gonna turn the corner soon.
Yeah, the more games that Kenny Pickett plays,
And Deontay Johnson back is making a big deal.
And your offensive
It
line's
is,
playing much better.
yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Your offensive line's
Najee's
playing much
getting some
better.
holes.
Yes, exactly. Your running backs just tore it up last week. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was a better matchup for us, but still. Good to see.
This is a good matchup too.
Yeah, exactly. No,
So-
I expect Najee to have a decent day. I'm
do
starting
too.
him in several leagues.
I wasn't. Even though he's only 4,900 in DraftKings, I wasn't able to get him into anywhere. I just.
Oh, I put him in one.
I just didn't do it. So to slide on to my Homer minute, I told you guys before the start of games last week that I thought the game of the year was going to happen last week, and I projected the 3 games that I thought it might be. I think it was the Cowboys-Eagles game. I think that is definitely the best game I've seen so far this year, start to finish. And when I'm talking about the best game of the year, that's what I mean. Is you turn on the game and just from start to finish, it's compelling and fun and back and forth, and it was.
That Houston-Tampa game was the same.
Not the first half. The first half was not. The second half was wild. The first half was not very much fun. I watched that game.
Okay, and I watched it red zone, so it was flipping back.
Yeah,
and forth.
you caught all the
But-
highlight stuff, but there was a lot of bad stuff in that game too.
Okay.
And there was a lot of bad football. The score in that game was produced more
True.
by poor football than it was by great football.
But I tell you
as
what-
good as C.J. Stroud plays. C.J. Stroud is awesome. Love it.
Between that game and the Minnesota game happening at the same time, going back and forth with those two amazing storylines,
God,
dude, that was so much fun.
Right,
Like,
but
that was 20 minutes of adrenaline.
But if
It
you
was
watch
great.
those games, like there's a lot of really bad football happening in those games. A lot of bad.
That's why we have
decisions.
Red Zone, brother.
Right.
Red Zone,
right.
awesome.
I'm just saying, and I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is like the actual best game of the year, and that game between the Cowboys and Eagles that came all the way down to the last play and had drama throughout the entire game. They were fighting each other back and forth the entire game. Was a really good football game.
No, I agree.
It was a really good football game.
It was fun.
It was disappointing to lose, but it's at the end of the day, it's a road division loss. So and we're now at the halfway point of the season, and we've gotten through the toughest part of our schedule at 5-3, and now you look at the schedule moving forward, and the Cowboys, like, unless they have a situation like they did in Arizona where they sit a bunch of people and play a preseason game, they should be going into like Thanksgiving at like 9-3, 10-3. So, not Thanksgiving. Excuse me. After Thanksgiving, they should be, because Thanksgiving they play the Giants again, I think. Not the Giants. They play the Giants today. Who are we playing on Thanksgiving? I forget. I'm talking too much about that. Let's go. Let's move on.
Let's do it.
Let's do the thing that everybody came to see. If you're paying attention.
What? What are you talking about?
Oh, Brian.
No.
Brian makes poor decisions.
Let's just do our show.
And this, that's what we're doing. All right, everybody, are we ready? It's time for Brian to take a pie in the face for his. I mean,
and I just
is there
wanna
any
say-
other way to say it than just like being stupid? You were just stupid.
Well, I was a little drunk. That was that was our night show.
It was a night
podcast. I was several shots in, so I want to use that as a little bit of an excuse and say it was more of a bet against Rashad White than for Brian Robinson. The Brian Robinson, I admit, was a mistake, but I will bet against Rashad White again.
And I'll take it. So we'll find one. We'll find another. Yeah, I'll bet on Rashad White again. And I will write him a thank you for letting me pie you in the face so many times this season. That's what we're gonna do.
Back off the mic here.
Here we go.
All right, which direction?
Make sure you look into the camera.
I appreciate you bringing your own towel, by the way.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what a poor decision looks like. Delicious.
Not bad. I like the coconut.
Hey, you're a good sport, buddy. And that looked fun. I can't wait to do it myself. All right. And now...
Fuck, I'm going to get pie out of my nose.
Sorry.
Yeah, I thought I might bring a towel and some.
I didn't
other
even think
things to
about
help
that.
out. Yeah.
I was like, all I got is the one that we've been using all season.
So what game we on?
Are we getting started on the games?
Yeah, we had already picked... So there's a game ongoing, as most people know. We picked it in the car. I think
right.
Brian and I were both on the Colts side, and Ray's on the Patriots side.
I told myself I'd never pick the Patriots again. Not this season. I did it anyway.
You've done it a lot, actually.
I did it. This is probably
You
my
look
first time.
like I think you
One
got
time
a...
it paid off, and then the
Yeah.
Bring. Okay, why is it only showing me this game for?
All right. So, we're going to start with a good one. I really like this game. I'm really looking forward to watching this game when I get home.
Oh, really? That's good to know.
The Jags and the Niners.
Okay, so Brian, you ready to go? First up, we got the Niners versus the Jaguars. Niners
Here, give him a pie.
are minus
Give him his
3.5. The over/under is 44.5. If the money line's minus 180 and 150 if you're betting on the Jags.
You just kind of pick at that.
Thank you. Oh, gotta get keep the wires out here.
We got to get the logistics figured out just right.
Do I have anything on my ears? I don't want to get it on the.
No, you're good.
I don't have anything that's going to get on my.
No, I don't think so.
All right.
You're good.
All right.
Nice.
Don't want to mess with Ray's equipment
You
here.
left some pie remnants on there. All right. Sweet.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
it. I like it. All right. So I think we're going to kick it off with the 49ers and the Jaguars, right? And this one's.
I just read everything.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was focused on pie face.
I am distracting. This is going to be a great game. I'm kind of on the San Francisco side here.
I'm heavily on the San Francisco
Yeah,
side. I actually
they're
think
going
they're gonna
across country. That's definitely a factor. So don't ever discount that. So I mean, the Jags do have a nice home field advantage here.
Both teams coming off a bye.
Yeah, and it just feels like San Francisco needs this to get back on track. They got Debo back, which I
Yes,
think is
that's
going to
the
be
big
a
deal.
big deal for Purdy. Yeah, I see the Niners rolling here, but I see a big game. This looks like an offensive game to me. What do you think?
I think that the strength of the Jaguars lines up poorly with what the 49ers do well on defense. The 49ers play a lot of man, and that hasn't been good for Ridley. That hasn't been very good for Trevor Lawrence in the offense, unless ETN has done well, and the 49ers are an elite rushing defense. So I just don't – I have a hard time seeing them have a good day today. I think those linebackers in San Francisco are just – they're monsters, and I think they're going to shut down ETN and Ingram today, and that the Jaguars are really going to struggle. That's what I see.
Okay. So you see it as more of a blowout, Jacksonville struggling.
I don't necessarily see it as a blowout, because unless the Jaguars make a bunch of mistakes, that's not what the 49ers do to people. Like, they methodically beat you up. Like, even like they're the big blowout they've had this year was when they beat Arizona, and that was 35-7 or ended up 35-14 or something like that. And they just 12 plays touchdown, 12 plays touchdown. 10 plays, field goal, halftime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I don't think so. I think it's still going to be Jacksonville will somehow still be in the game in the fourth quarter, I think. But at the end of the day, they'll lose by, more than 10 points, I think.
All right. Yeah, I'm definitely on the Niners on that one. Fantasy-wise, anything that we really need to talk about there?
Just that Debo's back. And when Debo's back, that means you should probably be running away from George Kittle.
Agreed. I put a little parlay against him
Holy
today.
shit, did they just miss that field goal? That was from the 15 yard.
Wow. Ryland, you're fired. Jesus. Go all the way to Germany to do that?
Are they in Germany this week?
Yeah.
I thought they were in Germany last week. Are they doing two in Germany?
No, they're in Frankfurt. Yeah, they're in Frankfurt this time.
Yeah, they did two London and then two Germany.
I feel like it's more than that this year. I feel like they've been over there at least 5 times.
I think
Yeah,
it was 2 and 2.
'Cause we've had Jacksonville, Atlanta. We had
Ravens were there, weren't they?
the Ravens played against the Texans. Is that right? Is that where that one was?
Nah, dude. Once the week is passed,
Man.
washes
Yeah,
out of my
gone.
brain, man.
Yeah. Well, there's been a couple of good ones. So the Jaguars Falcons game is the one they did in Toy Story mode.
Atlanta Jags.
Oh, Bills. The Bills
Bears
have been over there.
Commanders. No, that was the Thursday night game.
The Bills played
Ravens Titans.
no, that was the Bills that played the Texans over there, maybe. I feel like the Texans were over there. But yeah, anyway.
No, I think Brian's right.
I'll look into it later, and I'll confirm it. Anybody listening doesn't care. That's for sure. So yeah, for the fantasy football purposes, I like Ayuk, I like McCaffrey, I really like Purdy now that he has his weapons back. I hope he has an average day today, though.
Says a man playing against him.
Playing against him in Top Gun, but it's funny because he's starting for me in Dynasty. So
mixed feelings.
Yeah,
You
mixed
should
feelings.
just take that thing off now.
You
bud.
are totally right.
Just roll it up and throw it in that trash can right there.
Yep, that's what I'm gonna do.
No, just keep suffering.
Nah, I don't like the static on the mic.
Oh yeah, I agree. That's a good point. And then on the Jaguar side, you're not gonna sit ETN, so don't get cute there. And I like Kirk. I like Christian Kirk today.
Is that all you got to say on?
I'm trying not to make a mess over here for you, brother.
I got a dog.
Yeah, we're good.
That's why I bought him. That's why
Floor cleaning services are too expensive, but a dog.
That's why I never really did my floors either.
All right. So the next game is like one of my favorite DFS games of the day.
All right,
Yes, this is an interesting one. Sorry.
Next up is the Texans versus the Bengals. Texans are at plus 5.5. The over/under at 46.5. Plus 205 if you're betting on the Texans, and minus 250 if you're betting on the Bengals.
Yeah, and this game revolves around Chase. We should probably talk about this game last.
And
Do you
Nixon.
think maybe go back to it?
We can come back to this.
I think so.
Well, I mean,
After 9 o'clock.
I'll tell you what we should say is that if when we come to the injuries, Chase is on the report and he's not going to play, we can come back to this game.
Okay,
That makes sense?
that's fair.
Because
Readjust
if Chase is going to play, he's going to get like 15 targets.
It
also-
sure seems that
And
way.
also, if he's going to play and if he's going to get 15 targets, he could score 3 times today because Houston's got nobody in the secondary. Their best cornerbacks are down. Like that's why I think T. Higgins is sitting, and that's why I expect Chase to play is because this is just
Okay.
it's too juicy. And then also another thing is like everybody's on C.J. Stroud right now, right?
After last week, right?
Who's he playing? Who's the other quarterback
What do you mean?
in this game,
Oh, Burrow.
right? And Joe Burrow he's one of those guys. He's like he's got a Michael Jordan thing to him, or a little bit of Tom Brady to him, where he just he finds reasons to kick your ass, And this is one of those games where Burrow gets up for, and he's like, no, I'm the guy, and so I could see him throwing 5 touchdowns today, and honestly, it doesn't even matter if Chase plays. I can still see him doing that. I think he's going to have a great game because I just don't think Houston can stop him.
Yeah,
See,
I don't know if I'd say that. I'm sorry.
Honestly, I was.
They called a flag on that. I don't know if I'd call a flag.
Oh man, it's getting bad.
Oh yeah, got
They're not.
it.
It's because he threw his arms out.
Yeah,
Now,
but I mean, it's not like he was a in motion player. He was coming down from a catch.
to me, it's all about the way that guys make contact now, because you watch guys hit each other and they're not even trying to tackle anymore. They're only trying to hit each other.
Right.
Like collisions. That's it.
Yeah.
And if you're if that's the only way that you're gonna knock somebody down, you're gonna do the extra push and move your arms and stuff like that, and it's gonna cause penalties like that. Wrap up, bro. Yeah. If he had just wrapped him, no penalty there.
He was in the air. You gonna wrap him in the air?
Yes, the ball was right there. You can do that. It's legal. It was legal for him to hit him.
No, I'm just saying and from that standpoint,
It was-
I could see if you're running, you're gonna wrap, but if trying to catch a whole player in the air.
Yes, because that's what
I'm saying. I'm not saying it's not doable. I'm just saying from a defensive player standpoint.
Yes, that's how the game used to be played. Guys used to tackle. Guys used to wrap up. A guy, if he used to be in the air when somebody would contact him, he was going to land on his back with another man on top of him. It was going to be painful.
Right.
That's how football used to be played. And now you've got these guys that just honestly, this is some pussy shit. Sorry. I know, this is children's
Family show.
Yeah. Sometimes we'll edit that out. Probably not, but because it needs to be said. These guys, they're workout heroes. You know what I mean? They've got these excellent bodies. They look tough. They act tough. They play a game where they get hurt, so they're looked at as they're tough guys. But they don't make the tough guy plays. They don't stand in there and make the real play. Be a tough guy. Be an actual tough guy.
I don't know, man.
Make a tackle.
I don't know.
I'm
a little more go with the flow. I'm willing to allow football to evolve as it needs to, because it's such a dangerous sport. It needs.
You think it's evolving in the correct way, where we get personal foul flags all the time, and we get guys that every single week it seems like now we're missing key players for every single team.
No, I agree with
because
that.
of the way they're getting tackled.
I think we're getting a little off topic.
Yeah.
Off track
It'll work
here.
itself
We're
out.
going off track.
Yeah,
Which I don't
well,
mind doing, but let's get the
We're
games.
kind of, but we're talking about a game that's full of injuries.
Yeah.
So like it's like we're talking about a game that we're going to come back to later because we need an injury update, and we need injury updates because these guys are like because they don't tackle. Sorry.
And on this game, like I'm picking Cincinnati as long as Chase is active. If Chase is out, I'm gonna take Houston.
Ooh, that's good. I hadn't thought about that. I was just worried about fantasy football. But I agree. I like Cincinnati in this game. They're at home. I like Burrow and Chase to blow up the Texans, but if he doesn't have Chase,
Yeah, but
I
if his
think
weapons are Boyd and what was the other? I can't even remember the other receiver's name.
Trenton Irwin.
Just like if those are his weapons, man. I mean,
Hey,
no matter how good you are,
he's got Irv Smith, and I got a bunch of lines with Irv Smith. Today.
Irv Smith too. So Irv Smith.
So, like I said, this game
out there for you.
is one of my favorite fantasy games because even if whether Chase plays or not, I think C.J. Stroud and Joe Burrow are going to have monster games today. You're going to on the Houston side, you can play Tank Dell, you can play Noah Brown, you can play Dalton Schultz. All three of those guys, I think, are excellent plays today. Stay so far away from any Houston running back. Oh my
about Robert
God,
Woods?
that's terrible. Robert Woods, thank you. Robert Woods is going to play today, and yes, Robert Woods is someone that you should look at in DFS. I wouldn't play him in redraft or any important league like that, but in DFS, like when you're building a bunch of lineups, he's a dart throw you can take.
Well, and him coming back is why I'm staying away from Noah Brown. Like I was thinking Noah Brown might be a
Nico
decent
Collins
play
is out.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And so I thought Brown might be a decent
Robert
play.
Woods
but
is an
with
inside
Woods
guy.
too,
Robert Woods is an inside guy, and Noah Brown can play outside.
I'm just saying it's going to spread the targets out too much.
They
for
like
me.
they like Noah Brown. They paid him.
Yeah.
They paid him to come there. Like he got a multi-year deal to leave Dallas and go to Houston.
Yeah,
Like
it just
I'm
makes me
saying-
a little nervous.
I'm just
with Woods
saying they
coming back.
they like him
'Cause there's only
To
so
me,
many targets.
So the thing about Noah Brown is that he's an excellent blocker. He was the best blocking receiver the Cowboys had, and that's why Houston lured him over because he can do both. And so he's kind of like your like a Jawan Jennings for the 49ers. Like
Right.
I think that's how they view him. And so he's gonna play no matter what. And I think he's dangerous, especially in a game where you expect Cincinnati to score points against you. I'm not saying you should be automatically starting him. I think Noah Brown and Robert Woods are DFS plays. But I think Dalton Schultz and Tank Dell are automatic starts to wherever you're at.
And Singletary, what do you think about Singletary?
Just drop him.
See, I think he's going to have a decent.
I
day
don't
today.
think so
We'll
at all. I
Really?
don't. No, I
see.
don't.
And he might not. He's going to get the volume though, and there's going to be places where
that doesn't matter. Look at what he did with it last week.
I said, yeah, no, I know he had a bad week last week. He did.
Yeah, and he's just I don't. I'm not in. I'm like.
Okay.
I've been out. Like we can make it. We'll find a Singletary bet, I'm sure, because like you seem to be very in on him, and so I want to make you pay for it.
I had him last year, and I watched him close last year. And
At the end of the year
I
for
like some of the
Buffalo,
talent that he
he's
has.
2 years
I
in a
think he's
row.
more talented.
2 years in a row. The end of the year for Buffalo, he was awesome.
Right.
But he just has these. I don't get it. And when I watch him, none of it looks like, oh, that's a running back that I'd like to have on my team. Special, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, he's just a guy.
All right.
Like like Rashad White's just a guy. I'd rather have Rashad White than Devin Singletary. Devin Singletary can't block.
And White.
That's why you're going to see a lot of Daria Agunbowale.
I mean, this
today.
is the Singletary. This might be his last relevant season. So.
Oh, it is
Anyway,
for sure.
So, do we want to pick this game, or do we just want to come back to it?
I
at
think we
9
did.
o'clock?
I think we're going to roll with the Bengals, and then if when we get an
And
update,
just come back to it.
Yeah, when we get an update.
That's fair.
Next
All right.
up, Cleveland Browns versus the Baltimore Ravens.
The wet fart of the day.
Plus 6.5, over under is 38.
Fantasy
plus 230
football
if
wise.
you're betting
Yeah,
on
I
the
was gonna
Browns,
say.
and minus 285 if you're betting on the Bar.
Like this is a monster game if you're an AFC North fan.
Or just a defensive football fan. Like, this is going to be a
well,
defensive
actually.
game.
So you're going to see some spectacular plays from the quarterback position too on both sides. I think Deshaun Watson has some issues right now. Like he's definitely got a problem going on.
Yep.
He's very inaccurate right now. I don't know what it is. I've heard different things. I've heard people talk about his shoulder injury. I've heard people talk about his mechanics. I would lean towards injury. He's 28 years old, you know. It's like it's not all of a sudden he like unless we got a Cam Newton situation going on where like cuz Cam Newton got to the end of his 20s and he like physically wasn't the same guy anymore and all of a sudden he couldn't throw the ball the same way anymore. So I'm not saying that.
Before he got hurt, he was starting to look good. There was 1 or 2 games before he got hurt.
I didn't think he looked good. I did not think that he looked good. I disagree with that. I do not think that Deshaun Watson has looked good from any perspective other than fantasy football at any point this season.
Like, no, he's made some good throws.
He has made some good throws,
good flashes.
Okay, but so does Aiden O'Connell.
Not on that level, no.
Yes.
Like I say, being in the division, Deshaun Watson's going to be scary eventually. But you're right, not right now.
I think he could be. I think he has a problem right now.
Yeah, that shoulder injury hurt him.
But I don't agree that he's played well. I think he's had some sort of issue going on, like basically the whole season, whether it was rust at the beginning of the season and then he got hurt. Because I know he did get hurt like around game 3. I can't remember which game it was that he got hurt. But like a couple weeks before the 49er game, he got hurt. Anyway, this game is not a game where you want to play any fantasy football players. Like you have to, but you don't want to. Lamar Jackson does not have a good history against this defense.
Cooper might be a decent play.
Amari Cooper is someone you have to play. Like,
and I think he could be a good play
because
today.
He's been kind of matchup proof.
But I don't
and also his home road splits haven't been the same this year as they've been traditionally. So you like, and he's also getting like. Did you see his touchdown last week?
I can't remember it offhand.
He scored on a tip pass.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't a tip pass. It hit the guy's helmet, boinged into the air, and
went 15 yards further over 3 defenders and into Amari Cooper's arms. No. And he's had a lot of points fantasy-wise that way this year, where he's like gotten 6 points on a 50-yard chunk play, but then he ended the game 3 for 82. And it's like, that was a startable day. But man, with if he didn't have that one catch, like that's what it feels like. Is every single week he's giving you one play where it's like if you remove that one play, he's unstartable. But it just keeps happening.
But Deshaun Watson, when like say he's got a connection. Cooper and Watson have.
Cooper has a connection with everybody because he's open all the time, dude. He's just open all the time. Look what he did with Brissett last year. Like Amari Cooper is just a great wide receiver. And
he's going to have a good second half of the season. He's definitely somebody you should be targeting.
I think actually that he's somebody you should be selling. I think, he's actually, if you look at the schedule, he's played against the better part of his schedule already. Okay. His playoff schedule is horrible. I'd be selling him if somebody was buying.
I'd have to take a better look at the schedule.
I already did in Dynasty. Because I saw what was happening, and like he's had a couple of good games since I traded him away, but they were, like I said, they were based on like, you know, miraculous touchdowns or chunk plays. And so I think that's going to disappear. I do. Because I don't think Deshaun Watson's going to get better this season. I think the Browns are going to tail off as we get towards the end of the year.
Oh, see, I think they're going to be stronger, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't see it that way. I know their defense is awesome, but
Deshaun Watson's back.
But the offense is bad. The offense has been really bad. They haven't been able to run the ball very effectively. They have injuries on the offensive line. Like, that's another thing about today is like they lost their right tackle for the year last year. He went off on I think he tore his ACL. I know he went off on a cart and he has a leg injury. He's done for the year. DeJuan Jones, who I told you guys about in draft season. He's the 6'8", 6'8" rookie at Ohio State that they got in round 3 that I really wanted the Cowboys to draft, and they call him Big Thanos. Also not playing today, and he's been banged up. Their offensive line is beat up. What I think is going to happen is that their offensive line the offensive line being beat up is going to cause them a bunch of problems offensively that they already it's going to exacerbate problems they already had. They're not going to be able to score enough. Their defense is going to wear down over the second half of the year, and they are going to fade away. That's what I see. I could be wrong, but that's what I see happening.
And
I love their team. Myles Garrett's the defensive player of the year.
Yeah, I don't know how to bet on this, but
and that's why it feels bad betting against them to me. Like if you're betting on the Browns, you're betting on Myles Garrett.
Yes, for sure.
That's what it feels like.
For sure.
And that's not a bad bet. The guy's awesome.
The guy's amazing. I mean, you can make an argument for him being MVP so far this year. The guy's
I've heard that
great.
one. I've heard that one, and it's tough. And if the Browns do make the playoffs, like he should be in the conversation.
might.
He should be in the conversation if they do. I just don't think they're going to.
So who do you like today?
I like Baltimore today.
I like Cleveland today.
Oh, interesting. No, I like Baltimore
See,
today.
like I say, I have a very different take than you do on the Browns right now. I see the Browns as a team that's coming together. That defense has held them together so far, and now the offense is going to be able to put a little bit of something.
Yeah,
in
and
there.
I just and if their offensive line was healthier, I would have more agreements with you. But their offensive line's falling apart. They traded away Donovan Peoples-Jones. They gave up on him. Elijah Moore has turned into the turd I told you he was going to be. And like
we'll see.
the one thing that I'm excited about to watch in this game today is my boy Cedric Tillman. Another guy that I told you about in the draft season. Mm-hmm. What I said about him was that on some plays he reminds me of T.O., and on other plays he reminds me of Mohamed Sanu. And the reason is because he's big. Like he's 6'3", 220, something like that. And he will go over the middle, and he can beat guys. He's fast enough to beat guys. And if you remember, that was T.O. Like T.O. was that 225 pound, 230 pound guy that just would run by you and over you. And Cedric Tillman has those kinds of traits. So I want to see him play. I'm really excited to see him play today.
All right.
So anybody who's listening, you're playing in Dynasty, he's available in Dynasty because in some places, I picked him up. Someone had spent a third round draft pick and then they dropped him in week 5 or something like that. I picked him up immediately. In Dynasty, he should not be available. The Browns are making moves, clearing players out to make room for him and give him playing time. I think he's going to have a good second half of the year and somebody that people should be in on next season for redraft.
All right, there you go, tasty nugget.
And on the other, sorry, real quick. On the other side, Keaton Mitchell. We want to you spend a bunch of money.
Don't start him today.
Yeah, not today. And also, he's a little hurt.
And don't start the Gus Bus today either.
He's got 6 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks. Gus Edwards, 6 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks.
And I would bench him.
I wouldn't. You can't. I don't think you can.
Yeah, I can't.
I just don't. I don't think you can. He's the guy that's going to score for the Ravens when they get in because they're not. They're not.
Did you make your top 24 list?
I did not. I was.
Oh, you didn't make.
I did not this week. I had too much going on with homework and everything else. I just couldn't do it.
I just want to see if he's on my.
But you made one.
Yeah,
that's awesome. And yeah, I need to do that and start getting that up every single week so that people can see it. Sorry guys, I'm trying. I got a new kid at home. I'm working through it.
It's tough. It's tough to do homework for a podcast.
Yeah, make my top.
And I love it.
It's just responsibilities.
Yeah, I just don't have time. I flat don't have the time, and then the energy and stuff. But there was one thing. Energy, real quick. I started this carb cycling thing. Not to get too much into talk people don't like, but the thing that I noticed right away on my first 0 carb day, so it's you have a heavy carb day, a light carb day, and then a 0 carb day, and then you just keep cycling it.
Okay.
And it helps your body reset, and it helps your body know which parts of nutrition to eat out of your body. Like when to eat fat and when not to and stuff. The benefit that I got immediately was I felt like it was probably 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, and I'm at work, and normally that's about the time where I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna get home. I still have stuff to do. I don't even know how I'm gonna be awake through it, and I still felt alert, and normally I don't. And I was like, so that's interesting. So one of the things that when your body is going through eating a bunch of carbohydrates and metabolizing them, it takes a lot of energy from your body to metabolize that stuff. So it's something I'm definitely going to pay attention to.
It takes a lot of energy to metabolize carbs.
Yes.
That's not how I learned it, but okay. I actually learned the opposite.
If you're
inputting carbs, this is just what I've learned.
If you're using them though, if you're using them when you're active, that's not the case. When you're active, your body is in a point where it knows what to do with them. But when you're not active, and that's another thing is like when you're not active, you don't want your body to have to be doing anything really. Like it shouldn't be doing too much. But if you're not active and you're eating a bowl of pasta, you're making your body do stuff that it shouldn't just have to be doing. Does that make sense? So your body's like working, when it could just be saving energy that you could be using mentally. Anyway, anyway, we're way off track now, but working through it, trying to get more energy, into the night, and because I've been trying to figure that out. I'm like this is crazy. I know that what I think of when I get tired. You know what I always think of is I know doctors work like fucking 16-hour shifts and like back to back sometimes and crazy stuff, and they have some like really really important work that they have to do and things that they have to remember and mental acuity that they have to maintain. It's like, I'm a dad with a job and I have school. It's like I should be able to be alert at midnight. I've only been up for like 14 hours. It's like, come on, body. So anyway, we're all trying to figure that out. So, moving on from this turd game to a fun game.
Saints versus Vikings. Saints -3 over under 41. -155 is the money line if you're betting on the Saints, and +130 on the Vikings.
All right. Let's see how the Josh Dobbs hero does this week.
I actually really like the Saints in this game.
I do too. I love Josh Dobbs. As a person,
I do too.
I'm
a big fan.
God,
big fan.
5 different teams in a year. 3 times I count. He has come in basically off the street, not known anything, and started that week. He did it once last year. He did it once this year with Arizona, and now he did it with the Vikings. And he's looked good every time. Like, how do you do that?
Well, the question that I ask first is, how do these teams keep giving up on him? Like, how do they keep trading him away? Like, quarterbacks are so hard to come by.
Well, he's
like every single year, like teams fall apart because of bad quarterback play from the guy that they expected to lead the team. So, how are people just giving up on him? And it was really interesting. Real quick, I saw this thing where he was giving credit to Mike Tomlin about something that Mike Tomlin told him. Just a word of advice that he gave him. And I was like, he was a Steeler. Mm-hmm. How much better would the Steelers be if Josh Dobbs was their quarterback?
I've got a buddy at work who's a Steelers fan, and we were talking about that this week. Just like, man, don't you wish we still had Dobbs?
Because of what the Steelers want to do offensively.
Mm-hmm. He'd be the perfect fit, right?
Wouldn't he?
Yeah. I'd love to have him.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you why. Like my reason, what I see. I don't think he reads the back quarter to third of the field very well. I think he's an excellent quarterback at underneath throws. He's obviously very mobile. He's got great pocket awareness. He has very poor deep accuracy, and I don't think he sees guys open all the time. I don't think he reads.
Well, and like I say, he's not.
He
hasn't been a starting quarterback for a reason. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's a backup, but man, he's a damn good one and fun to watch.
He is exciting to watch.
Yeah.
But he does make a lot of turnovers too. So
absolutely, which makes him fun to watch.
And I think that's going to happen today. I couldn't make it fit. I couldn't get the Saints. And remember I was telling you about those little mini stacks and stuff that I like, like the Saints and the Kamara Alvin Kamara and the Saints defense was just a little too expensive. I couldn't make that one work. But it was one that I really liked. I think if you could make the Saints fit in a DFS lineup, and if you're already trying to play Kamara, you should try and do that, because I think it's going to be a good day for them. Actually, I do. I like the Saints a lot in this game. And another little mini stack that I like in DFS a lot is Kamara and then Hawkinson on the other side, because while Dobbs was the quarterback in Arizona, 40% target share to the tight ends.
And just a word of caution on that, though. Hawkinson, they said, is going to be on a limited. Yeah, he's going to play, but he's going to be limited today. Yeah. Limited snap count.
I don't think it matters.
It matters. Like
I don't because he's
like you don't
the reason
play him in
the reason I
DFS, that's
don't
for
think
sure.
it matters is because they don't use Hawkinson to block as much as you might think that his skill set would lend you to believe. They actually have a blocking tight end, Josh Oliver. Like that's his job.
Yeah.
Like he's regarded as one of the best blocking tight ends in the game. So when they say he's on a limited snap count, I mean that means they're probably just going to play less 12 personnel.
That's fair.
That's what I would think.
I just had to throw it out there as a word of caution, man.
Yeah, I was reading about it too, but
Yeah.
he's going to play, and with the way that Dobbs targets the tight end, with the way that we know tight end is, especially with Kelsey and who else is on bye this week? Who else are we missing? I mean, Higbee hasn't been great since Cup came back, but who else is on? Who are the other teams on bye? Ray, there's 4 teams, right?
Rams, Casey,
Philly. So and Goddard got hurt, but we're missing Goddard. So there's no way you're sitting Hawkinson. There's no way.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And in DFS, he's 5,000. And like at the beginning of the week, I was looking at Sam Laporta a lot, but I actually just don't think the Lions are going to have to score enough points in that game to make Laporta a great DFS play. When you can look at Hawkinson at 5,000 and Dalton Schultz at 4,900, Logan Thomas at 3,500. I think there's just a lot of great options. So, but anyway, I like him a lot.
Can I take a? No, never mind. No, I was going to say Laporta versus Hawkinson bet, but
You don't want to do that.
I don't want to root against Hawkinson. I do have to start him in a league. I don't want to root against him. So I am going to be picking the Saints here, but rooting for the Vikings. I would love to see Josh Dobbs go out and pull out another miracle. I'd be rooting for it, but yeah, I think the Saints are going to roll.
I think I like Saints too. I don't think they're going to roll because I just don't think that a Derek Carr offense has the ability to roll anybody.
I don't know, man. That offense is coming
They're
together.
dink and donkey.
Yeah, they absolutely are,
Like,
but they're figuring it out, man.
I really like Taysom Hill. I'm in. I've given in. Taysom Hill is God.
Well, he has gotten so much more involved in that.
He's just a
offense
football.
right now.
He is a football god. Like he really is. Like he is absolutely the best football player in the league.
And
like,
they've decided they're going to use him now. You know what I mean? And so I think it's making their offense better.
Does he make the top 100 list? They do that top on NFL Network. I'm sorry, NFL Network. Every year they do the top 100 list that's voted by the players. Does he make that list?
I honestly don't know.
I don't, because I feel like I have no idea where, if he does make the list. I need to check it out. But he deserves to be way up there. Like, that would be crazy to me if the rest of the league's not. Like, if they're not, it's because they're fucking hating. Yeah. Because, like, he gets to do it all. You know? He gets to do everything.
Well, he's proven it right now. Like I say, if they keep using him the way they're using him, then he's definitely going to make that list for next year.
Well, I mean, they've been doing it for years now. And he's good.
Not like this.
He had a run like this last year
right
too,
now.
which is what makes me worried about jumping on the train now, is because he did this exact same thing last year where he had like 2 or 3 games in a row.
That's what I see, and that makes
to
me
me the offense looks exactly the same as it did last year, but it's got Derek Carr now. I don't see anything different, dude.
It's similar, but it's got something more to it.
Saints
are coming together.
Camaro looks
in a
better
division
this year. Alvin Kamara looks better this year. And the thing if there's anything different, it's Rashid Shaheed. Like, he takes the top off the defense, but Olave's been disappointing.
That's what I'm saying. So
Michael Thomas has been somewhat
dink and dunk,
disappointing
and then
lately.
Shaheed
Like, the
down
things you're excited about in this team fantasy-wise are Rashid Shaheed in DFS, because he's going to get like four shots a game. They're doing that every week, and he's awesome to watch. He's fun. I also like the fact that his number's 22, because it irritates people, but it's like it's deuces because I'm gone. You know, like I love that. That's hilarious. I like Shaheed a lot. But Shaheed in DFS, got to start Taysom Hill, got to start Alvin Kamara, and I think the Saints defense is an awesome play. If you're like, not even just DFS, like they could be available in your league. Like if they could be available in our league right now. Actually, I don't know who's got them. Juan might have them. If somebody has them, it's Murder Valians.
Hill?
Huh?
Hill?
No, I have Hill.
Oh.
No, just, the Saints D.
Yeah, I have Taysom Hill.
Yeah, do you bring up the number 2? Is that like a number players shy away from? Is there some sort of
No, he's a receiver and he wears 22.
22?
Yeah.
Okay.
And usually receivers are in the 80s, not the 20s. Or
Right,
whatever.
but I mean, like Paul
Sometimes they're the
Warfield.
teens.
Like if you're familiar with Paul Warfield, he's a receiver from back in the '60s. He was
Oh, I saw something on NFL Network, and they showed all the best receivers that were in the 20s. Or, have
Who were the
20s as their
20s?
numbers. Yeah, so there's quite a few of them.
and that's from 60 years ago now. So it's not like it's never
it's
been
not
done before.
unique.
Yeah, it's just abnormal. All right, are we ready to move on?
Yeah.
Dude, I keep looking at this pie disaster, and I love it. It's great.
My face is all sticky.
You probably smell really good.
Edible.
You're like, man, I smell delicious. I gotta get out of here and eat.
Do you have animals at home?
The dogs are gonna love you today.
So Titans versus the Bucks. Titans +3, over under is 39. +124 if you're betting on the Titans, and -148 if you're betting on the Bucks.
This is the game that I'm going to be sad that I didn't actually stack players in DFS for. This is the one. This is the one that I'm like, I really want Hopkins.
Another Tampa Bay shootout, you think?
But the thing is I don't like enough of the pieces, and the defenses are good enough at different areas of the game. There's just enough where I just don't love it. I could see this game being really boring. You know what I mean?
Right. It looks like another bad football, maybe high score kind of game.
Exactly. It could be. This could be the same game that we saw last week with Houston and Tampa Bay. It could be. And so I think that you should, if you have these guys, you should be starting them that way. Evans, Godwin, Hopkins on the other side, Derrick Henry. It's not a great matchup, but Derrick Henry balls out in bad matchups sometimes. He's matchup proof. You just start Derrick Henry. The last time we were together, you were trying to tell people to be wary of starting Derrick Henry, and what did he do?
He did good. That was also the week of the trade deadline, and I thought they were going to trade him, and they were shopping him, but he didn't get traded, and so that weekend they used the heck out of him where I thought they might give him light usage, and I was wrong. I was wrong on that one.
Yeah, you always start Derrick Henry, always.
Yeah,
And there's snow in Vermont.
for sure.
There's snow in Vermont. All right.
Yeah.
You can start the Yeti now. And then Will Levis. He could.
Can you start him this week? I mean,
Will Levis?
Yeah, Bananarama. I mean,
There's so many quarterbacks on bye that yes, you could, because we're missing.
I can see that
Mahomes,
too. And
we're
the Tampa
missing,
Bay secondary has obviously been suspect.
That's where they're beaten. That's where
Exactly.
people beat them is in the
where they got
secondary.
beat last week,
Yeah,
so.
they got roasted last week
Yep.
by C.J. Stroud, and Will Levis might be wanting to be like, look at me.
Yeah. And gotta say, Levis has looked good, man. I did not.
And
expect to see that
Hopkins
from
looks
him.
like he's having fun catching passes
Yes.
from him.
Yeah.
So yeah, So we're gonna talk
a good
deals in Dynasty after we get out of here. But that's a package I'd be willing to pay you for. Is if I get Carr and Hopkins from you. All right.
Right on.
So another guy I like today, sneaky, is Trey Palmer.
Trey Palmer.
He's been getting more and more targets. He's been playing
All right, tell us who he is.
Oh, Trey Palmer's a rookie.
Okay.
He's their rookie. I want to say he's a 5th round draft pick or something like that. But he really shined in the offseason.
Tennessee rookie, right?
No, Tampa.
Okay, I see.
Tampa actually has 2 of them that people should be paying attention to in Dynasty. One of them is Trey Palmer. He's been playing 70% of the snaps since week 3. And he has multiple touchdowns, and he gets targets. They like him. It seems like him and Baker Mayfield have a little bit of a connection. And then the other guy is Raheem Jarrett, also a rookie. I think he went undrafted, but it's interesting. He's so funny. He measures up. He has the same measurables as Stephon Diggs. Went to Maryland like Stephon Diggs and broke all of his records.
Yeah.
So he's another guy to pay attention to. He's been starting to get more work. If Trey Palmer misses today because of an illness, I'm going to be really excited to see Raheem Jarrett because I think he'll get 60% ish of snaps and maybe get some work. He made a really spectacular catch in the Buffalo game. Like I'm such a nerd, but like he made a really great catch in the Buffalo game. One of those catches where it's like, that's a really good play. A lot of rookies don't make that play because they're just so worried about being in the right spot that like if the ball comes to them in one of those like sideline toe drag situations, like they're just like not prepared to make it. Like he was. Yeah, it was a highlight play. Anyway,
well, it sounds like you're really on the Tampa passing game. So
I am.
So are you all over Baker Mayfield?
I am. I like Baker too. Like this was like I said, this was the game that I was sad that I couldn't make work DFS wise. It just didn't synergize well. Like the costs of the players and stuff like that didn't. There was too many of them. There were like 6,000 instead of 5,000. Right. Whereas like you could do that with Washington, Seattle. So I didn't end up doing it, but like I said, I like Hopkins, I like White, I like Mike Evans, I like Chris Godwin, like I like all of it. I like this game as a possible fantasy shootout. I just think it was tough in DFS to make it work.
What about Kyle Phillips as a sleeper?
Oh, I love Kyle Phillips.
Yeah.
I think he. Thank you for bringing that up. Treylon Burks is going to be out again today.
Yep.
And Phillips didn't play a ton of snaps, but had like 5 targets and 4 catches.
Yes.
And so
yeah, looked like he had a little connection there.
He had a really hot start to his career last year. He's a second-year guy at the beginning of the year, and he's had a bunch of injuries. But he's got he's a Wes Welker kind of guy. He returns punts. He plays the slot. He blocks. He's really tough. Like I like him a lot. I like Kyle Phillips a lot.
So if you're absolutely desperate, I mean, that's not somebody that you really want.
I'm starting him in a couple
lineup,
places today.
But yeah, if you need to, as somebody,
and he's
you can throw
3,000 in DFS, so he's
Yes,
a great
he is.
punt. Great punt.
I might know that.
I texted you, so I texted this guy. I like to make my DFS lineup that we're gonna play for the show, our cash lineup. Before I listen to the footballers give their lineups, because I want to make sure like that I'm not influenced. By them, and I have a lot of fun doing it because there's so many times where we're on like the same 4 or 5 guys.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it was the same thing this week. Like they're on. Like I was on Kyle Phillips. I saw him. I was on Noah Brown. I saw him. I saw all these these deals and stuff like that. So that feels really good. But yeah, Kyle Phillips 3,000 in DFS, super good punt. But probably my favorite punt of the day, non-tight end.
All right, so who do we like here? I'm going to go ahead and go with Bananarama and the Titans. I want to see it happen. I'm going to will it into existence.
And I'm going to go with the Bucks because they're at home. They play better at home, and they've been on a little bit of a losing streak. So I think they're going to turn it around.
All right,
I am going to pick the Pirates.
So I got a question from Wadabizi. He's
What's up,
curious
bro?
about Calvin Ridley or Hawkinson as flex.
Hawkinson.
Ah.
Ridley really struggles against man coverage. Like he's been really struggling against man coverage lately. And he was supposed to be their man beater. So
I mean, it's easily Hawkinson if he's not hurt. I'm more worried than you are about that limited tag. You know what I mean?
I'm just not because they don't have anywhere else to go with the ball, and that's what Dobbs does.
So I would say if you really need big points, go with Hawkinson. But if you need safety, I'd go the other way.
Man, and see, I think, man, that's funny. So it's going to be a matter of who you agree with, because I actually think it's the other way. I think that Ridley has an opportunity to maybe just score twice today because they're going to have to, because the 49ers are going to score. Whereas I know Hawkinson is going to get, if he plays, he's going to get 8+ targets, and he's going to catch 5 or 6 of them. I know that's going to happen.
Yeah, you're so certain with that injury, man.
I am, dude. I'm not worried about his injury.
Well, like I say, my team that's playing Hawkinson, I love it. I love your confidence,
dude. I almost like, because of Josh Dobbs taking over at quarterback for the rest of the season, I almost like tried to make a deal on in Dynasty for like deal away Andrews and get back Hawkinson plus.
Wow.
Something like that, because I think he's tight end 1 the rest of the way.
Wow, good confidence. I love it. All right, I think we talked about this one.
It's either him or Taysom Hill. Sorry, but yeah, that's what I would do, buddy. I'm super out on Calvin Ridley. I would play Hawkinson.
All right.
Next up is Green Bay Packers. Well, it's almost 9. Do you want to do your injury?
Do we have any updates?
I think Chase is now playing. I think he got removed from questionable.
Oh, that sounds important.
Yep,
What
he
we
sure did.
expected.
Hawkinson is still questionable, but Chase has had his tag removed.
Okay.
So
That's-
Chase is all in, baby. All right, my lineups are good unless Hawkinson doesn't play. Then I have to switch lineups.
Looks like Demario Douglas is going off right now. I've had several alerts on him, so he must be having a good game.
Or he's catching a lot of 5-yard passes. I mean,
Well, no, the alerts are for big passes, so
Oh.
I don't get an alert for something small. All right, injury report. James Conner in. Keaton Mitchell. Like I say, I don't think you should care, but just in case you do, he is in.
5 for 75.
Okay, it's
That's
not bad
good.
for him. Yeah, it's not.
It's good. And 5 out of 5 targets.
Nice. All right. Let's see. Damian Pierce is out. We all knew that.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase is in. That's the big news. Robert Woods in. Justin Jefferson still out.
Dang it.
T. Higgins out. Traylon Burks out. No big news there. Michael Wilson is expected to play. That shouldn't affect anything. Curtis Samuel is
Oh, no.
expected
Dude,
to
I
play.
like Michael Wilson. Michael Wilson.
This week?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to
have.
have him on my bench just in case he has some good connection with Kyler.
I think if they'd had better quarterback play, we'd be talking more about him.
Okay.
That game that he had against San Francisco was just so impressive to me.
He's definitely on my prospect. Keep an eye out for. But I wouldn't want to play him this week. Curtis Samuel is expected to play. That is a big deal because that means you probably don't want to start Dotson. So just kind of keep that in mind.
I actually don't think it matters. I think you can start all 3 of them. If you've looked at their numbers, they all get 6+ targets when they play together.
Oh man, I don't know. I think Dotson's numbers were really bad while
He was
Samuel
heating up. He was starting to heat up
that's
before.
possible.
But he actually was having a great game when Samuel got hurt. The game Samuel got hurt in, Samuel was having a terrible game. I was playing him that week, and I was really disappointed at watching Dotson go off against the Eagles, after he'd had such a poor year.
Right.
And Samuel being such a stud for those few weeks and turning into a dud for a couple of weeks. So I think that there's enough to go around in that Washington offense. I actually think it's the best fantasy offense right now. Except for
It's a fun one.
it just remove the running backs.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the running backs. Don't play either of the running backs, and you can play all the pass catchers and Sam Howell every week.
And now their defense has gotten worse, and so
Yeah.
now they're going to be throwing it out.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
I couldn't
fun.
I have Kyler back now in Top Gun, and I couldn't drop Howell. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Couldn't.
Yeah, I can see that.
He's QB 6 on the year and 6 point per passing.
Dude, he's man.
Yeah,
In injuries, Stephon Diggs is in, or is expected to play, and T.J. Hawkinson in, but like we talked about, limited. So, all right,
So we're good.
we're good.
There was no bad news on that 9 o'clock
Nope,
injury
no big
report.
news.
Push forward.
Next up, Green Bay Packers at Pittsburgh Steelers +3, over-unders 38.5, +140 on the Packers, and -166 if you're betting on the Steelers.
Yeah. This is gonna be a fun game. I really like the Steelers running backs in this game. I've actually got a dynasty league where I'm playing both. That's not something I normally recommend, but I think it might work out today.
It's worked out in
a
depending
couple
on
of
what you're
games,
looking
not-
for.
yeah.
If you're looking for a low end RB2 and a flex start, it's done that every week.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm looking for in that league today, and I think it'll be a little bit better than average today. Deontay Johnson has just been an absolute stud since coming back.
Last 3 weeks have been amazing.
absolutely.
Yeah. Best buy low in football right now. If you could get him off somebody, I almost went back to the well and where I got CD from, and offered him CD for Amon-Ra, and because he had put him up, and DJ, because I think that's a deal I would do, if I could get it. Because Amon-Ra St. Brown is definitely gonna be a step down from CD the rest of the way, But Deontay Johnson is going to be such a high-end wide receiver 2 the rest of the way that, like, I think that's a good deal to make.
And he's been peppered with targets, and it's been to the detriment of Pickens. So
for sure.
Just keep that
For
in mind. Pickens probably not worth a drop yet, but put him on
Don't
your
start
bench
him,
and wait to see if they can have enough.
They need to score more points.
Yeah, well, they need to
That's the thing. They need to
Pickett
get
has to throw for more yards and more touchdowns. Then we can support 2 receivers. You know what I mean? We can only support 1 right now because Pickett is not taking that next step.
And like we talked about this at the beginning of the season, Pickett is their deep guy, or Pickens is their deep guy, and Deontay Johnson is the guy that's going to be open all the time.
Yep. And then on the other side, Packers. I think Love is going to have a long day, man.
I do too. I actually don't like any of their pass catchers today at all.
Yeah.
But I love Aaron Jones because the Steelers have been bad against pass catching running backs. So I love Aaron Jones today.
Okay.
And we talked about this on the way over. In this particular game, I love Aaron Jones and I love Deontay Johnson, and that's it.
And yeah, I can see that. Like I say, the running game for Pittsburgh, I think, is going to be fine. But
Fine,
you're right.
yeah.
Those are the 2 that you.
But in terms
want
of
to
like,
play.
if you were talking about DFS, like those are the pieces. The only pieces I would start in this game are Johnson and Aaron Jones.
Yeah, I'd still be leery of Jones if it was DFS. But
He got 30 opportunities last week.
did he get?
Yeah, and they've been
Okay, I didn't see that. Wow.
and they've been like he carried the ball 20 times and then had 7 targets. Like they've been talking about
so
it.
they finally just retired AJ Dillon.
Finally,
just like, dude,
Jones has been hurt all season. Like he got hurt. He had that monster game in week 1 and got hurt at the end of it, and has just been not really playing at all. And the talk around the Packers is that they've been wanting to get him back involved, and they want to unleash him, I think was the exact words that he used. So, yes, I like Aaron Jones a lot. And on DFS, he's only 6,500 a day, so I think it's a monster play.
There you go. All right, I'm taking the Steelers.
Me too. Steelers at home for sure.
Yep.
Next up, Detroit Lions versus the LA Chargers.
So real quick, this is supposed to be the fantasy bonanza game of the day, right?
Okay.
I thought you guys were saying it was another game, but
This game's a little sus to me. All right, I actually don't think this is a great fantasy bonanza game. I don't like. I want to. I like.
Let Ray get the stats out on it.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Ray.
minus 2.5. Over under is 48.5. Minus 142 if you're betting on the Lions, and plus 120 if you're betting on the Chargers.
And that's the Lions on the road, minus 2.5. So
Well, on the road, but they're going to be playing in SoFi, so
roadish.
I expect there to be more Lions fans in the building than Chargers fans today. I do.
Do you think there's a lot of Lions fans in California? Yeah,
I
I guess
do.
we'll find out.
And in Los Angeles, there's a lot.
Period.
Because of how Los Angeles is. Like, there's 40 million people down there in that area.
Yeah.
And they didn't have a football team for 20 years.
Okay.
I think the Charger fans are jaded too right now. So
Yeah, the Chargers had trouble when they were in, like, what was that other stadium they were in before they played in SoFi? They were playing out in...
you talking about the Coliseum or in San Diego?
It was the year they were out of San Diego, but SoFi wasn't open yet. So they were playing in, like... what was the place called? It was like StubHub Stadium or something like that.
Was that USC Stadium?
No. The Coliseum's beautiful.
Oh, is that?
They were not playing in the Coliseum. No, they were out in. I swear to God, I think they were. In the Indian. I'm pretty sure they were in the Inland Empire when they were playing. And for anybody who's not familiar, that's not Los Angeles. There's a valley.
Moreno Valley and stuff.
Yes, there's a valley after you exit Los Angeles. You go over a mountain range, and before the San Diego area, they call that the Inland Empire, and it's Riverside and Orange. It's Orange County and all of that stuff is the Inland Empire. Yeah, so I think they're in the middle. Anyway, they just don't have a lot of fans in the Los Angeles area. They're from San Diego, and San Diegans don't like to travel to Los Angeles. because
So far.
it's not that it's so far; it's that San Diego is such a better place to be than Los Angeles.
Fair.
So anyway,
that's true. I like being in San Diego. It's just such a drive.
yeah, it's really far for us. It's like 5 hours from here.
Oh, at least.
That's if you're speeding.
I was going to say, you're driving really fast.
You're probably getting there in 5 hours.
Oh, I know. It's 5 hours for me. Yeah. I know exactly how to get there in 5 hours.
All right. So let's see. So you don't expect this to be an extravaganza today? You think this is a defensive
I don't
battle?
actually. So yeah, thank you for bringing me back. The Chargers are struggling with their offensive line. The Lions have a really strong defensive line. The Chargers struggle to stop the run. The Lions like to run the football. So I think the Lions are going to pound the Chargers. I really do. I think the Chargers are going to struggle on offense, and I think the Lions are just going to take them out methodically. I think they're really going to hammer the Chargers today.
So you think Montgomery's going to have a good day on his first game back, and that also means that you think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to have a good day, and that there's going to be enough.
I think
to go
Jahmyr
around?
Gibbs is going to have a decent day, but I think he's going to go back to touching the ball like 12 times.
You think Montgomery's going to get over 30 points fantasy?
30 is not something I would make a bet on. 20 maybe. Like I that's what I expect him to do, is somewhere around 20.
Yes.
Yeah, it's bad for me. I'm playing against him in Top Gun.
He's the only one that's going to give me any points today.
It's so fun. I swear to God, dude, when I saw that you picked up Kadarius Hodge, and I looked at the other guys on the waiver wire, I was like, why did he do that? Why? Please, if I get beat by this guy, like if I get beat by Kadarius Hodge today,
3 touchdowns.
But I really like. He's got Brandon Ayuk also. I really like Brandon Ayuk. So he's got Purdy, Montgomery, Lockett, Ayuk, Logan Thomas. These are all guys, and the Ravens defense. These are all things that I'm worried about today, for sure.
So the reason anytime this is my mental strategy on stuff like this, like, let me see, you said I picked up
Hodge,
and I think that was the wide receiver.
You had to do that because they announced that Higgins was out.
Also, when I'm picking up players on the waiver wire or whatever, I'm looking at who's trending.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm not looking at like
me too.
Personal expectations. And of the players, he was the one that was getting targeted. And
no, I looked at him and I was like, I thought that was interesting that all of a sudden in the last couple of weeks his snap percentage has gone up, and last week he had 6 targets. Mm-hmm. So yeah, like I said, I could see myself getting angry at him today. I'm not gonna lie. All right, so. It's pretty obvious where I'm at on this game. I like the Lions.
Okay.
I think the Lions are just a better football team.
I do still like Amon-Ra today. I know you're a little bit down on him.
You have to start him. I'm not saying you shouldn't start him.
Definitely start him.
I'm just I couldn't do it in DFS for 8,300. I couldn't do it in DFS because I expect him to have his 15 points. He's gonna do that. I expect that. But
does he catch the touchdowns?
That's the thing. Is I don't think he's going to have to. I think they're going to. I really think that I see this as a 2-touchdown game for Montgomery. I do.
And then Chargers side, Eckler, he's going to have trouble running the ball, but I mean that's not really where he makes his hay anyway.
Right.
He's still going to have a good game on the outside.
Yeah.
So you're definitely you're still high on Eckler.
There's no
high
Palmer.
on Allen.
Everett's going to be back.
Everett's going to be back.
I actually like Gerald.
And Lions are
I like
very
Everett
weak.
today.
Yeah,
yes,
very
I like
weak
Gerald
against
Everett today. But Parham scores all the touchdowns.
That's too true.
It's frustrating. But you know what's interesting is the majority of Herbert's touchdown passes this year are to tight ends.
I would not have guessed that.
Right?
Yeah, Allen has definitely slowed down. Like he started the year on fire.
Man,
now he's been kind of slowing down a little bit.
And like
ever since what's his name on the other side?
Mike Williams got hurt. Yeah. Yes, because if you're going to double Keenan Allen, that's going to be enough to stop him. He's 31, and he's never been fast. He's just always been a really good a good separator for inside of 10 yards.
So there you go. I think that sums up this game.
Yeah.
All right.
Next up, we got Atlanta Falcons versus the Arizona Cardinals. Falcons at -2.5. The over/under is at 43.5. -142 if you're betting on the Falcons, and +120 if you're betting on the Cardinals.
Come on, Kyler. Come on, Bijan. Come on, Kyler Bijan. So I'm excited to watch Kyler. I am, and which is funny because because anybody who's listened to this show has heard me kill Kyler like as a professional quarterback, but from a fantasy perspective, he's a dude.
Yes,
like he is a special fantasy football player. Has been his since he stepped onto the field. So I'm very excited to see what he can do today, as I have him in our league of record, and I'm going to start him over Sam Howell today.
Wow.
Yes,
okay.
I'm doing it. I'm in. We're doing it.
And obviously I think in 2 weeks that's a no-brainer. But right now, with Howell so hot in a pretty decent matchup, and you've got Kyler just
coming back, right?
He's got that rust.
Normally I worry about that, right? But Kyler's a running quarterback.
I agree with that.
And like his best game, you look at all of his best games. It's not because he threw for 350 yards and 4 touchdowns. Like he just doesn't do that. His best a good Kyler passing game is like 280 and 3. That's a lot.
Right.
He's been healthy enough to come back, I think. And I think they've been working around their schedule, waiting for a good opportunity.
I agree with that. And
the Falcons have just been horrible against running quarterbacks this year. Look at what Josh Dobbs just did to them.
Sure.
And then compare Josh Dobbs to Kyler Murray. That's mentally that's where I'm at, because I feel like Kyler Murray's been ready. Like I pay attention to a lot of these guys on social media, and so I've been, I follow Kyler Murray, and he's been ready. Like he's been ready to come back. He's been working. He's been teasing people that maybe this is the week for a couple weeks. Okay. So I'm excited about it. Like obviously it's fantasy football, so I'm ready for heartbreak. And him to have to go out there and throw for 130 yards and rush for 30 yards and gives me 13 points. But I don't think that's going to happen.
And I don't either. Honestly, my it's funny because you texted me during the week. You said Howell or Murray. I answered Howell for safety.
And the only reason I did that was because I had just listened to the Footballers,
and I hadn't listened yet. Yeah.
I figured you hadn't, and so Jason so. Real quick aside. We listen to Footballers, and we like to, who doesn't listen to fantasy footballers? They're the best, right?
Right.
We like to see who it is that we think most alike, and me, I think that I align most with Mike, and that plays out a lot. Yeah. But Brian likens himself to aligning with Jason, and I disagree with Brian, and I think that Brian aligns more with Andy, the way that Andy thinks. And so they were talking about it, and Jason was just full steam ahead on Kyler, gonna start Kyler specifically over Howell this week. And I was like, that's awesome. That's the decision I have. And it's like, and I just wanted to hear somebody who I believe in fantasy football, who makes explosive decisions. And to me, that's Jason. Jason makes really explosive decisions. Sometimes it burns, burns up in his face, but a lot of times he is right. And I agree. And Andy is more conservative. Andy makes very, very solid plays all the time and stays away from bad plays. And so I put this question to Brian just to see where he lined up, and sure enough, Brian did line up with Andy.
and it's funny because when we talked about that last time, I thought about it, and strategically, I think I am more like Andy. But player evaluation wise, I'm more on Jason.
I think Jason's your spirit animal. Like you wish you could be more wild and free like Jason, but you just can't help it.
I'm just an Andy.
You're just Andy, and that's not bad. Andy's great at fantasy football.
Got me a championship.
Yeah, and I'll take it. Andy has a bunch of them too.
Yep.
But yeah, Jason makes those plays where it's like that guy goes off for 45 points, and all of a sudden he's a stud on your roster. Anyway.
So on Atlanta side, Bijan, this looks like everything on paper says that this will be his breakout game, but he's got to get the ball.
He gets at least 15 opportunities. Like people are really complaining because he's not getting 25 to 30. He gets 15. He had one game where he had a migraine and didn't play.
Right.
But every other game, he's getting 10 plus carries and he's getting 4 to 5 targets. And it's just a matter of what he does with them.
Yeah.
And I do think eventually he's going to take over. It's just been a little slower than what we wanted. But if you look at Algier, he has been slowing down and been less efficient as the season's gone on. And Arthur Smith's not a moron. He wants to win.
You sure?
I'm pretty sure. I think it's funny because I think people are picking on Arthur Smith because he's got this stud running back, Bijan Robinson, and people want to see him do well. And the Falcons aren't a team with a ton of scoring opportunities. So when he gets down there and he makes, decisions to run plays that if Andy Reid did it, it'd be fine, even if it was unsuccessful, right? But because Arthur Smith does it, it's unsuccessful, and you've just been sitting here waiting for Bijan, everybody's ready to shit can him. And to me, that's not really fair. As much and I have Bijan in an important redraft league where I really need him to go off, but just be patient. The schedule is awesome. The second half, they've had a rough schedule to go forward. I think they've just kind of like been making sure that they don't overwork their rookie, because a lot of rookies hit that rookie wall, and I don't think that he's going to have that problem. I think it's going to be the opposite. I think what's going to if somebody's selling Bijan to you, take him.
Right.
Like, you should take him. To me, and he's RB11 on the season. Something
Is he
like
really?
that. Yes.
He sure doesn't feel like
I
it.
know, but he is. And if you look at his numbers, he's not like that one game where he didn't play because he had the migraine. He's just not goosing you. He's giving you 8.5, 9 points at least. And he has we haven't seen it since the beginning of the season. Because it was like they tested him out. They're like, they want to see what he could do, and he was awesome. And then okay, we know you're awesome. Now let's ease you in. Now let's ease you in. Broke you in real hard, real fast. Now we'll ease it in. And it's it feels weird, but I think it's coming. That's the way that I feel about it. I feel like it's coming.
And you can probably play Drake London, but
You have to play Drake London. You have
I don't
to.
think you'd play anybody else. Maybe
You play
Pitts.
You should. Yeah.
How are the Cardinals
Okay.
against tight ends? Are they still weak?
Yes, they are.
Okay, then maybe you play Pitts then.
The Cardinals are actually better against wide receivers than they are running backs and tight ends. But Drake London's so good that you're going to play him.
Agreed.
And they don't have any other wide receivers, and that's the thing I was just about to say is in a good matchup, the Falcons, you don't go to their wide receiver 2 and their wide receiver 3. You just start both their tight ends. And you can do that. Jonnu Smith has had one bad game this year, but I think he's a top 10 tight end on the year. So, and we know what Kyle Pitts can do. And if you have him, who are you starting over him? You might be lucky and you pulled somebody off the waiver wire, but who did you get?
It does seem like there's been a lot of surprise tight ends this year that you
Better.
might
It's been
find.
better than we.
It's been a strange tight
It's
end
because
year.
the rookie tight ends
rookies
have been
worked
so
out.
good.
Yeah, that's why. All right, so I take the Cardinals.
I am also going to take the Cardinals at home. I am.
Yep.
And Kyler. I think Kyler is going to ball out.
Tyler coming home.
I think he's going to ball out.
Yeah,
Hollywood Brown is a really good play.
Oh, yeah.
This was another game that I thought about stacking in DFS because the values are so good.
yeah.
Because the most expensive player you can play in the game is Bijan at $6K.
Spoiler alert, I really had a hard time deciding between Kyler Murray and Sam Howell as my quarterback this
They're
week in
because
DFS.
5,900, right?
Because DFS, they're both great players.
Yeah, they are. I agree. Yeah.
And the same price.
And it's what's interesting is I think Sam Howell has a higher ceiling today. Than Kyler.
That's why I played him.
Right?
Yep.
I just can see it that way.
That's why I went to Howell's side.
Kyler, I expect to have 20, whereas Sam Howell could have a 12-point game because he just does sometimes.
Yeah.
Not much, but he has had a couple of duds on the road, So Kyler, I expect to get 20. Sam Howell could have a bad game, but Sam Howell could also have the 40-point game, which I don't see that from Kyler. Whereas Kyler's ceiling to me is more like 30. Sam Howell's is 40. That's the way I see that.
All right.
So I'm actually, in my opinion, making the safer play. Yeah.
Next up, Giants and Cowboys.
We're done.
Oh my God.
One of my favorite things that I heard about on Fantasy Football podcast this week was people picking this flex play or wide receiver play or whatever or the Dallas defense. So
Well, let Ray tell him why.
Because the Giants are at plus 17.5 right now. The
it's
over,
gone up.
the over-under is 38.5, plus 1,200 if you're betting the money line on the Giants, and minus 2,400 if you're betting on the Cowboys.
Yeah, the injury report
What a
came
crazy
out, and the
line.
Cowboys didn't announce that they were going to sit half of their offensive line. So yeah, so the line's going up. It's getting farther away. Yeah, on my dynasty league, my
Giants.
my Cowboys defense is projected to score more points. Hold on, this is really funny. Let's see.
I picked the Giants or the Cowboys defense a lot this week.
Okay, on my dynasty's team, the Cowboys defense is projected to score more points than Ken Walker, Zay. This is half point PPR. Ken Walker, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews. These, like, apparently, according to the fantasy football projectors, those are all worse starts than the Cowboys defense today, and I believe them.
Which is hilarious. Yeah. This
Which
gonna
is
be
why
crazy.
I tried to jam them in as many places as I could in DFS, because they're at $4,400. You expect them to pay you.
Yeah. And the Giants, you can start Barkley.
That's it.
But I don't think there's
That's
anybody else.
That's
that
it.
can
Nobody
start.
else. Like, because of the Cowboys being susceptible over the middle, Daniel Bellinger is kind of interesting because Tommy DeVito is going to target the tight end a lot, but he's going to target the tight end and the running back a lot. So Saquon Barkley is still a solid play. I wouldn't sit him at all anywhere. Too expensive for DFS because I don't think he has the ceiling.
Right. But
I still think he's going to put up 15 plus points PPR.
And then Dallas side, you just starting everybody?
Yeah, because you expect you expect the Cowboys to roll them, but you just don't know exactly who's going to score. Still,
Exactly.
like, you don't know if it's going to be the Dallas defense scoring 2 touchdowns, or if it's going to be Pollard scoring 2 touchdowns like he did in Week 1 against the Giants, or if, you don't know if it's going to be CeeDee Lamb catching 10 passes for 2 touchdowns in the first half like they did when they rolled the Rams. So
Yeah.
start them all.
Yep. And Tony Pollard, I think he might have a real nice day today. We'll see.
I
how
hope
much they
he
wanna
does,
use him.
brother. I hope he does.
So yeah, we'll take Dallas. I think that's a safe everybody, right?
There's the free games on the DraftKings where it's just like free entries. It's just the Cowboys and the Jets game. You have to pick your lineup, and it's a 1.5 captain league. And,
That's the
and the,
what do they call that?
And the defense Cowboys is more expensive than Gallup right now.
Make him your captain.
Yeah.
Maybe
That's gonna be the chalk play.
that would save some money. Anyway, so I might do that just for fun. Next up is we did Giants and Cowboys. Washington Commanders versus Seahawks.
Yeah, and this is the other game that I was all over in DFS. Sorry.
Commanders are up +6. Oh, that's what I'm saying, man. You need to do your own thing for an hour because you just want to talk. You don't want nobody else to talk. You just want to talk.
Just me.
So
That's why
Washington
people are here.
Commanders +6, over under at 44.5, +220 if you're betting on the Commanders, and +270 if you're, or -270 if you're betting on the Seahawks.
I'm just trying to keep people from getting pie in their face.
I am so sticky right now. Like, I go to blink, it can feel it. And it's like, all right. Eyelids sticking together. Awesome.
I should have got cherry.
All right. Commanders, like we've been talking about that as we go. We're taking Howell, we're taking the receivers, and Brian Robinson. You can play if you have to.
There's so many good plays in this game for DFS. Now, so let's talk about redraft real quick. Actually, Geno Smith is a great play in this game because you don't expect the Commanders to be able to pressure him as much as some of the other teams have. And when Geno's not under pressure this year, over 8.5 yards per attempt.
Right.
So he could have a monster game today. Love Tyler Lockett. Don't love DK as much. But
And why is that?
just because he's had some injuries. He was questionable going into the week. And him and Geno have just not been connecting very well. Like over the last couple of weeks, it's been an increase for JSN, and I love JSN today. I love like all of the like the slot receivers in this game, like JSN, Dotson, Lockett. Who am I forgetting about? Samuel. I like all of those guys today. McLaurin. I love McLaurin too, even though he's not a slot guy. But DK's something I don't know about it is like he's like my least favorite pass catcher of all those guys I just listed. And I actually would like I probably like Logan Thomas better than I like him today.
Wow. Okay, I mean that's putting him pretty far down, but I'd have a little more faith in DK than that. But
yeah, he's such a beast.
I see your logic, I see your reasoning, but yeah, DK is a beast, and if I've got him, I'm definitely starting him.
Like I said, DFS. I have a bunch of different lineup combinations and stuff. I got lineups that included, Ken Walker, Charbonnet. Not together, obviously, but just like because you don't know exactly what's going to happen. If it's a high-scoring game and there's a lot of passing, Charbonnet could have a really good day, and he's only like 4,200 or something like that.
Is he that cheap?
In DFS, he's really cheap in DFS. So if like you're looking for lineup combinations and you want to stack this game, that's a good
tournament play.
It's a good punt play for this game.
Well, tournament play.
Yes,
I wouldn't do it in cash, but tournament I like
exactly,
it a lot. Yeah.
Exactly. In tournament, like if you're trying to come up with as many different combinations as possible, make sure you get one in there with Charbonnet. Another guy is Noah Fant. He gets a decent amount of targets every week from Geno Smith, and this is a good matchup for him. So just guys that you don't want to forget about that are in this game if you're trying to cover your bases for DFS. And then just stay away from the Washington running backs. Like, it's not worth it. It is not worth it. They just there's one game this season where Brian Robinson has been worth the money. So, and he had to score twice to do it. So,
hey, I'm not going to defend him.
yeah, you should.
I took a pie in the face.
You
for that
sure
son
did.
of
And
a-
that's that motherless. No, I'm sorry. No,
All right.
we like you, Brian.
I'm
I
taking
like
the
you,
Hawks.
Brian. Thank you. So this is it's a tough game to pick, though.
Is it really?
The winner, I like Seahawks.
I like the Seahawks.
I like the Seahawks at home, but I just
I think it's going to be a
they just got beat
closer game.
37-3.
Yeah.
So if you got beat 37-3, you can lose to a team like Washington.
It feels like this is going to be a fun, high-scoring game, but I could be wrong.
expect it to be.
Yeah.
I do not expect these teams to be able to stop each other very well.
All right. Hawks.
Are we all going Hawks?
Yep.
We are, it seems like, yeah.
Okay, next up we have. Hold on, I gotta get back. Where did it go? Oh, it kicked me out. Hold on, just give me a second.
No,
Pull that back
no
up.
problem. We got the Jets and the Raiders.
It
coming
does that
up,
if
so-
I don't remember to refresh it, it'll boot me out. As New York Jets versus the Las Vegas Raiders. -1.5 if you're betting on the Jets. Over under is 33.5. -122 is the money line for the Jets, and +102 for the Raiders.
Basically, just a pick 'em game here.
I
And
disagree
it's
with
going to be
that.
fun. This is a hard one to pick. I am going to end up going with the Jets just because they're my team this season. I want them to win so bad, and I love that defense. But the Raiders are playing hard, man. They are so happy to have a new coaching regime. The new
Raiders-
quarterback, new everything. And
It's so funny.
man, they're
I was
happy.
so it was so interesting because the Raiders were going off and winning, last week, and you're seeing the ticker and they're up 21-0 on the Giants or something like that. And you're like, oh, who's going off in fantasy football? And it's nobody.
Right.
It's hard. I'm not sure exactly what to be excited about. If you're a Raiders fan, you should be excited because they got somebody who wants to be there, who is bleeds for the team. The Raiders are his team from when he was a young man. And I like Antonio Pierce. Side note, I'll never forget when he was with the Giants, and I think it was probably during that 2007 season when they won that first Super Bowl, and he was getting interviewed, and they kept getting some annoying question, and I can't remember what it was. There was some nagging question that was following the team that year. Maybe it had to do with Eli or something like that, and he brought an air horn. And so when they would ask the question, he'd just blow the air horn. One of my if you look up if you just Google Antonio Pierce air horn. It'll probably come up. It's one of my favorite little interview clips of all time.
That's funny.
Yeah, really good. I like Antonio Pierce. Even as a Cowboys fan, I like that guy. So it's tough for me to pick against him today, but I will. I think this game's gonna be ugly.
Yeah.
Ugly.
It's the Jets and the Steelers. That's how they win. It's going to be an ugly, muddy, nasty game.
Yeah, you start but it's not. It's funny because it's a Vegas now, so the terrain's not going to be the same. It's not going to be muddy and nasty and mucky and.
Well, I mean, when I say muddy, I mean like just people are going to be in the dirt.
I was thinking
all
of
day,
like the Oakland Coliseum.
Yeah.
Like this is a primetime game too, so it'll be like it'll be different. But
that's right. I was surprised they didn't flex this out at prime time.
Yeah. They definitely should have.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at the
primetime game
flex it
for
with
today.
Yeah, flex it with Detroit, LA.
Yeah.
What the heck are they thinking?
I know. Well, Detroit and LA or San Francisco and Jacksonville would have been a good one because Jacksonville doesn't get a whole lot of primetime games. So like a Jacksonville primetime game against the 49ers would have been a really good one.
I thought when they flexed, they had to flex with a 1 o'clock game. Is that not right?
Do they? I don't know the rules about that.
Yeah, I thought I heard that.
I just
but
know
I
that there's
totally
a deadline during the week. I'm not sure though. I'm pretty sure a 10 a.m. game has moved to the flex before, or moved to the because I'm pretty sure. I feel like a Packers Lions game. I think that Packers Lions game from last year was supposed to be a 10 a.m. game.
Okay,
and they flexed it. I'll have to look that up and see.
I'm not real sure. I just thought I heard that somewhere, but.
I don't know all the rules about that. That's for sure.
So this being such a nasty game, I mean, is there anybody we want to start?
We want to. You have to.
Well,
you have to start Breece Hall. You have to start Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
You have to start Devontae Adams. You have to start Josh Jacobs. The guy that you have questions about is probably like Myers, Jacoby Myers.
I wouldn't start.
You don't want to, but But the thing is the way they used him. He scored that end around touchdown last week, and he's just involved. Like he's had the last couple of games. I'm pretty sure his numbers are better than Devontae Adams. So it's one of those like, don't laugh, it works type situations, because it's like
the Jets secondary.
I know,
brother.
I agree,
dude.
I agree.
Like,
but that doesn't mean he couldn't. But if you're going to start Devontae Adams and then Jacoby Myers has a better game,
but you're only going to start Devontae Adams because you have to. Because it's the name, you know what I mean? Like, how could you not? But man, I don't want to start him.
Yeah, and that's it.
Yeah,
like Michael Mayer is interesting.
You got 2 players from each side that you can start, and nothing else.
Defense. Start the defense. Both sides.
Well, yeah.
Start the defense on both sides.
There you go.
Yeah, Max Crosby for president.
So, who do you like in the game?
I like the Jets. I do. I like it's tough because I really want I want to pick the Raiders to win right now. I like them, but they're playing the Jets this week, so I can't pick them.
Jets are your team. I know. Right on. So just Monday now.
On to Monday night. We got the Broncos versus the Bills. Broncos are, let's see here. Broncos are +7, over under 47.5. +250 is the money line, and -310 if you're betting on the Bills.
Bills are coming off a loss. I think they're going to steamroll the Broncos.
Yeah, I'll take the Bills
now,
there too.
I say that, but the Bills are they're just decimated on defense. At every level. It's insane. They have lost an all-pro level player at every level this year.
We're all picking Bills? Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
Huh? Okay. It's unreal. And the Broncos are coming off a bye. Their offense has been playing a little better. Javonte Williams was ticking up before the bye.
Yep.
Javonte Williams is an automatic play.
Yep.
I'm excited to see if they do anything with Marvin Mims, because at the beginning of the season they ran some plays for him, and he flashed a little bit, and he does have those those skills that you like he can catch the ball, he's really fast. Question time.
Yeah, Gus Edwards or Sutton?
Gus.
Sutton. Sorry not to help there, but no, I don't like Gus Edwards this week.
Actually,
at all.
that's funny because I
against that
think
Cleveland
Sutton
D.
is the one guy that I don't like in that game, the Broncos game, because he's going to get matched up with Taron Johnson. And Taron Johnson is a stud cornerback. Like, people aren't talking about him a whole lot, but he's a stud cornerback for sure.
And my answer is definitely based more on the fact that I want nothing to do with Gus this week. Like, I think he's
weird.
gonna have a
Why are you so out on him?
That Cleveland D is amazing, dude.
I
That
know it
Cleveland run
is,
D,
but I
and his usage. If you look at the splits for the last week, like, he got the touchdowns, but that's all he got.
I know, but they were way ahead. They didn't
Right.
have to use him.
Yeah, and I don't expect him to have much of a game this week at all. So I would be doing anything.
I never
not starting.
expect him to have a monster game at all. It's just that he's that guy that we're going to get to the end of the year and Jamal Williams he has 15 touchdowns. And the reason for
at
that
the end of the year, I'm
is
saying
because
this
so like I
matchup.
said, I've said right, and I but the thing is like, to me, he's like, because of the way they're using him, he's kind of matchup proof. Because their offense is good enough that they're going to be in scoring situations every single week. And when they get down close, they're not forcing Lamar Jackson anymore. They're giving it to Gus.
I agree.
So there's no way I wouldn't start him, and there's no way I would start Sutton over him. There's no way. If that was my choice, there's no way. Because, like, you're talking about a receiver. Like, receivers are so finicky anyway, versus like, he's going into a bad matchup on Monday night in Buffalo, which is a bad place to play. Their offense doesn't play well, versus the running back who gets the premium touches for an offense that puts up 30 points a game. Like, to me, that's a no-brainer.
So what's your line then? Gus Edwards, how many fantasy points did
12.
he score today? 12 points. Huh?
And that'll be more than Courtland Sutton. You want to go? Hey, we got to do Gus Edwards versus Courtland Sutton?
No, I'm going to do Gus Edwards plus or minus 12. Let me see. Sorry, I'm looking up the line on
I'm not doing that. I'll do a player versus player, but I don't want to do specific
I
points.
just want to bet against Gus.
Oh, like, that's fine. You
Yeah.
can bet against Gus, but
Yeah.
do it with a player.
You should do it with a shot. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Do it with a player so we can make a pie bet.
I thought we were doing the 12 points. I'll take the under.
No, I want a player versus player bet. I don't want specific points. I don't like betting on specific points. I like betting on this player versus this player.
I just
but
want
I
to
don't like
bet
saying
against
that a
Gus.
player is going to get to a specific number of points. I just don't like doing that.
You don't want to over under points.
Yeah, that's not, to me, that's not as fun as putting a player versus another player. Because then I'm just watching the one player, seeing if he gets to a point mark, versus like watching this player do good versus this player do good. You know what I'm saying?
McLaurin?
I want to root against somebody. No, I wouldn't do that. No way. I would absolutely take McLaurin over Gus Edwards. That's not close. Who is somebody that you were excited about today that I was not very excited about today?
Amon-Ra?
Singletary?
Singletary. That's a good one. That's a good one. You like Singletary. So that's a good one. I don't like Singletary at all. You like him. You don't like Gus at all. I like him. Gus, and that's fair. Gus versus Singletary is a good bet.
Put it on the board.
Yeah, put your money where your mouth is. I'm finally going to get him for all this Devin Singletary love. Yes.
Put it on the board.
All right. We've got a pie bet live, ladies and gentlemen. We got there.
This is just this week, right?
Yeah. Season long. Gus.
No, hell no, not
That would be
season long.
such a bad bet to watch all
no,
year
this is
long.
very specifically this week.
Yeah, we really want to pay attention to Gus Edwards and Devin Singletary all year. We don't have enough to do.
We do have a question. It looks
What do we
like
got?
from Boved. I think it's his first time on the.
Welcome.
Boyd or Avian Robinson, half point PPR.
I'm sorry, who?
Boyd or Avian Robinson?
Robinson. Who's that?
I'm trying to. I mean,
Avian Robinson.
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 Allen Robinson?
Might have been trying to spell. If he's on his phone or something, and he.
Boyd.
Oh, yeah.
Tyler
Okay.
Boyd. Not close. Do not play Allen Robinson today.
Yeah, if that
Tyler
is
Boyd.
Allen Robinson.
Yeah, there's no
Steelers fan
Higgins.
is telling you no.
Yeah, there's no Higgins. Chase has been injured. Like, absolutely start Tyler Boyd today. Tyler Boyd's a top 30 start for sure.
Yeah, he has a chance at having a decent day, and he's definitely
Tyler
got
Boyd
decent,
can have a top
decent
10 day.
floor as well too.
Like,
So
Tyler Boyd is definitely capable of scoring twice and having,
and if
8
Chase
for
is
100.
taking all the coverage, then no, these are the times that Boyd can shine. I definitely take Boyd over Allen Robinson. If
And
that's who
thanks
that
for the
was.
question. And make sure you go back to the beginning of the episode if you didn't see it. Catch Brian take a pie in the face.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm still sticky. Thank you.
Next up is the Thursday game, Bengals versus the Ravens. Bengals are at +3, over-unders 44. Money line's +130 if you're betting on the Bengals, and -155 if you're betting on the Ravens.
Where they're in Baltimore?
Yeah, in Baltimore.
Man, Joe Burrow likes to light up the Ravens. Man, he likes to light up the Ravens. And that defense is so good. This is a good game. This is the best
Fantastic game.
This is the best Thursday night game so far this season for sure.
Agreed. Yeah.
Like, other than the season opener. The season opener was really good. The Detroit Kansas City game was really good.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, this is going to be a monster game. This one's hard to pick,
Very hard to pick,
especially
a
with
week
the injury
out.
situations. Yeah.
A week out, not knowing any of the injuries, anything else, but and it's hard to give fantasy advice here. I mean, these are two good teams. You're going to start your weapons, so
Let's
it just
assume
basically
that-
comes down to the pick, and I'm going to go with the Bengals. I think I like the
Interesting.
way Burrow has been playing.
I do too. I like the way Burrow's been playing. They went into San Francisco and handled the 49ers, and I don't think that Baltimore defense is better than San Francisco's defense. I don't.
I don't either.
So,
I don't either.
so that doesn't scare me. If Burrow has his weapons on Thursday, I'm with you. I'm picking the Bengals.
There you go. What about you, Ray?
I'm going with the Ravens on
All
this
right.
game.
Good.
So you guys are
Wolf.
Bengals on Ravens? Is that
Yeah,
what's
you're
happening?
lone wolf
Yep,
on Thursday.
It's your lone wolf.
Did we get lone?
That's a good one, too.
Do we have lone wolves, or were we like on the same side? of it?
So,
I've got the Browns.
You're lone wolf on the Browns.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ray has the
Interesting.
Patriots.
Did I
I
get
had
one?
the Patriots, and I think I also took the Raiders as a lone wolf as well.
I didn't get one.
And I
Doesn't
got
look
the
like you
Titans.
have one.
I got two.
Hold on, real quick here.
Yeah, I got Tennessee as well.
You know what? I'll take the Vikings.
Ooh, going for Josh Dobbs.
I'll take the Vikings. It's my uncle's birthday this week.
Yeah. Like I say, my heart is rooting for the
He
Vikings.
texted me after he beat you, and he goes, "How's that for a late birthday present?"
Whatever.
Hoping to see him for Thanksgiving.
All right.
So that completes the games of the week. We're going to move on to our DraftKings lineups.
Oh, yeah, we're running late here, too. So
fun stuff.
Let's get that going. It's almost game time.
All right. Did we get numbers for last week? Did I get my number in?
I'm going to worry about catching us up
Okay.
whenever.
I won last week by quite a large margin.
No, I don't think so. I was pretty sure I was right with you. I'm pretty sure you beat me.
Oh, was it by a small margin
I
this
think
time?
so. I think it was only by a couple points.
I'll take the win. Whatever.
I intended to.
But we both scored like 160 points or something
Oh,
like that.
yeah. That's why. Maybe it was Ray that had a I had a larger margin against. All right.
Dude, actually, all three. I had played 3 DraftKings lineups last week, and they all cashed.
Nice. All right. Anybody want to go first?
I can go first.
Do it.
So the cash lineup is Jared Goff, Jones, Robinson, Hopkins.
Which Jones?
Alan Jones, right? A. Jones.
Oh, Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones,
Okay,
sorry.
gotcha.
Hopkins, Kirk, Lockett, Schultz, and Brown, and the Cowboys.
Okay.
Defense.
Noah Brown as a saver there. Cowboys defense, because how could you not?
How could you not?
Yeah, I went Cowboys defense as well.
We're not live on that one then.
Yeah. Okay, everybody went Cowboys
All
D. Everyone paid up.
right.
Seems like an excellent cash play.
How could
Yeah.
you not? No.
Sam Howell is my quarterback. I'm going to go for that. I think he's got a pretty good floor and some good ceiling as well. So I'm going to go with Sam Howell. McCaffrey, I fit him into my lineup because woohoo. And Singletary is my boy this week, so let's ride with him. I got Singletary in the lineup. Hollywood Brown. I've got Phillips from Tennessee. We talked about him earlier.
Nice.
But yeah, stoned him in at 3,000. So St. Brown is what I went with. I'm not as negative on that game as you are there.
Yeah. The fantasy, I am definitely on an island as far as thinking that game's not going to be a boom game.
And I get your logic there too. I did very possible to go that way. Trey McBride is a value at the tight end position, so I went ahead and took him.
Love that.
Little nervous about having 2 Arizona players, but they're so cheap that I think it's worth it. And then I've got Terry McLaurin in my flex, and that's that.
Very nice. All right. I'm looking at my lineup right now, and it actually has like no expensive studs. But I also don't have any of the punt plays either. So here we go. At quarterback, I got C.J. Stroud, 6,900.
Oh, okay.
At running back, I've got Aaron Jones and Joe Mixon.
Okay.
At wide receiver to stack with my quarterback, I've got my boy Tank Dell. I traded him off in a dynasty league, because I drafted him with a 4th round pick late in the 4th round, and I got an early 2nd rounder, and that Rams rookie running back the week that it looked like he was going to start, and I needed a running back start, and so I was like, okay, I'm winning on this draft pick, and I'm going to get this Rams running back that could turn out to be pretty good. They like him. They drafted him like a 4th round pick or something like that, and I'm so sad about it, dude. I miss Tank Dell so much. So 5,500 Tank Dell, one of the best plays of the week to me. Deontay Johnson at 5,400 to stack against Aaron Jones. One of my favorite stacks of little mini stacks of this week on DFS. My puntiest play, Curtis Samuel at 3,900.
Okay.
But Curtis Samuel at 3,900 on DFS has not, even in the game that he got injured, has not scored less than 6.5 points in PPR this season.
Yeah, I like
Just
that one.
not goosing you. If we had done our hero, we need a hero section this week. He was my guy. Like
Mine was Pop Douglas.
and Pop Douglas is popping off. Pop Douglas is a guy that can score like 30. Could have scored 30 today, and it's going to happen, I think, at some point where he's just going to score twice and have 120 yards. Whereas Curtis Samuel's just giving you that floor.
Yep.
And then if he scores, you get 20 points, and it's awesome. At tight end, T.J. Hawkinson for $5,000.
Okay.
We talked about this earlier. Josh Dobbs, 40% of his targets in Arizona went to tight ends. And they like to throw to Hawkinson already. So,
Yep.
At flex for $6,100, Tyler Lockett, one of my favorite plays today, kind of stacks against Curtis Samuel. I like that synergy there. And then, of course, Dallas defense, 4,400.
There you go.
So we've got that. And then let me pick one of my tournament lineups real quick. So I've got a lot of them today.
You want a second? I can go.
Go ahead.
All right. My tournament lineup, I went with Goff, which is what Ray did over here on his cash lineup. I went with Amon-Ra again in the for the stack. I've got Bijan Robinson because I think he has potential to really go off today. Devin Singletary is a nice cheap play that can outperform his price there. I've got Keenan Allen as a stack back on that game. I've got Phillips again at 3,000 to save some money. I put Laporta in there, so we're going to go double stack with Goff there. And then Najee Harris in at running back. And because I afforded all those studs, cannot go Dallas defense. This is my true punt play. I'm hoping that some miracle can happen. Giants D. All right.
All right, here's a tournament lineup. I've got a lot of them going on today, so I just picked out one of my favorite ones. Mm-hmm. This is one of the ones that, like, the synergy, just when it came together, it was just like. So I've got Sam Howell at 5,900, Joe Mixon at 6,200, Tony Pollard at 7,300. I've got Tony Pollard stacking with the Cowboys defense. I've got Joe Mixon stacking with Tank Dell in this lineup, okay. And then I've got to stack in the Washington-Seattle game. I've got Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Curtis Samuel, and Logan Thomas.
Okay,
and that's it. That's my lineup.
Nice.
And it used all but $100.
All right. Well, we ran a little late today, but dude,
yeah.
I'm so sorry.
My tournament lineup
we went out of order,
is,
so
Jared Goff, Eckler, Montgomery, Johnston, Reynolds, St. Brown, Everett, Laporta, and then my punt is the Cardinals.
We have pretty similar lineups on that one. We got the same super
I
stack.
actually picked one for like every possible game. So there's like Burrow, Mixon, Singletary, Chase, Dell, Woods, Schultz, Watson, and Cowboys for that game. And then the other game I have Mayfield, Henry, White, Evans, Godwin, Hopkins, Schultz, Shaheed, and Cardinals punt again. So
All right.
I got an AI one. You want me to read the AI one? Let me see here.
Ooh, nice.
The AI generated one is Burrow, Etienne, Mixon, Brown, Chase, Ingram, McBride, and Cowboys.
Brown. What are the Browns?
Then Brown and M.
Hollywood Brown.
Okay. Yeah. I like that.
Yep.
And the Cowboys? It picked the Cowboys?
Cowboys,
Yeah. Evan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good lineup. I like it.
So there it is, I guess. That's everything.
All right.
Everybody, thank you for being with us.
Yeah, sorry we ran late, but glad to see you. Glad we're back. We'll be back next week.
With another pie in Brian's face.
Nah, not my turn. Not this time.
All right, everybody, crush it.
Bye, guys.